Hello everyone, welcome back to Black Heaven, the Necromantic Dating Simulator, and we are still in the demo. Let's go ahead and continue. You knock on Rue's door for your weekly tutoring session, something that's become a natural part of your school life by now. Oh, come in. You push open the door and find Rue sitting at her desk, staring at a lit candle. Hello, Uzo. Are you doing well today? Her eyes don't raise from the candle. A steel contraption, similar to a cooking spit, is holding what looks like a human eye over the flame. Yeah, I'm doing fine. What's that thing? It's a little invention I made to help with my research. It lets me evenly heat things that need to be heated. Can't tell but notice the eyeballs almost completely withered and charred black. The smell coming from it is pungent, but the smoke from the candle masks most of it. Why are you heating an eyeball? I'm going to regenerate it. First, I need to damage it though, and this is a nice controlled way of doing it. Eyes are mostly water, which makes them nearly impossible to regenerate from trauma. Is that an eyeball from a person? Where did you get that? Oh, it's one of mine. Or at least, well, I grew it from my real eye. He peers closely at the eye from a few different angles, making notes on a small pad with a quill. Okay, that should be enough. She gently lifts the eye out of a spit contraption with a pair of forceps and places it in a shallow dish filled with a yellowish fluid. Sorry about this. I wanted to take care of this before, so I could give you my full attention for, tutoring. No problem. I just had some questions about canon, the author we're reading right now. You begin laying out the material you've been studying in class, and Rue gets a determined look on her face. She nods slowly as you walk her through your questions, and you can see her hand fiddling with her piece of chalk. When you're done talking, she sits there for a few seconds, staring at your notes upside down. It's as if she's stealing herself, mentally and physically. Okay, let's start at the beginning. After about a half an hour sitting in the beanbag chair, listening to Rue as she writes on the chalkboards, you feel the fog of confusion lift. It turns out that the ideas are relatively simple, but canon just has a convoluted way of explaining it all. It's been a running theme in this stuff you've been reading. Labyrinthian prose that's really saying something easy. Rue, however, keeps steaming ahead, determined to explain everything to the smallest detail. So that ties back into the concept of, what? Did I skip over something? No, I think I get it. Artificial vessels can carry souls as long as the soul recognizes the vessel as a body. And the body doesn't need a heart or a brain or stuff to be a body. Yes, that's right. Are you sure you understand it all? You push back the desk and close your notebook. Yep, and it didn't take all night this time, which is nice. Rue's shoulders drop and she sighs in relief. She puts down her chalk nub and stands awkwardly near the board. So we still have about half an hour left in our allotted meeting time, but you're free to leave if you like. Oh, but wait, it's been 2 full months. I need to give you... Rue walks over to her desk and sorts through the stacks of books and papers scattered around the surface. You realize that her desk has been getting progressively messier since her first meeting. More and more junk has been piling up. Ah, here it is. Rue pulls a folded piece of paper and begins to read from it. Are you feeling at home in your accommodations? Do you feel bouts of homesickness? You smile as you realize what this is. a check-in list for tutors to gauge how their students are adapting to life at Itzon. No, I'm not homesick. The dormitories are nice. Nicer than my room back home.
Good. I will mark that down. On a scale from 1 to 10, how how prepared do you feel to take on the academic challenges at Itzon?
You laugh a little to yourself and reflect on how hopeless you used to feel walking into class. Well, thanks to you, I'd say 7, maybe 8. A couple weeks ago, it'd be maybe 2. Rue smiles broadly and nods, then makes a note on the piece of paper.
How are you adjusting to social life on the campus? Do you feel your classmates share your interests and goals?
The amusement at the assessment fades. The truth is, you've been thinking about this for the past few weeks. Not that the initial shyness of your classmates has faded, you watch dozens of cliques crystallize like patches of ice. You've seen everyone around you slowly gravitate into friend circles, but not you. Everything that your classmates have in common seems alien to you. Travel to foreign lands, favorite theater actors, exotic foods. Then you realized, all of them grew up in rich, well-educated families. They'd all been walking the same path to get here. And now that they were here, they were acting like they already knew one another. It wasn't like you hadn't tried to talk to people. You tried, but the conversations always withered and died. Each time you felt like you had nothing in common. It's like you'd already failed before it started. So why bother? You look at Rue, waiting expectantly for you to say that's all going to be fine, that you're making friends. I spent a lot of time by myself when I became an apprentice scholar. I think I lost a lot of my social skills. I spent almost all my time in the library. The only person I really spoke to was my master. And it wasn't much for conversation, beyond answering questions and grunting at me. You remember your time in your old master's dusty library. It was peaceful and quiet there, and nothing seemed to change. The only sign that time was passing was the ornate grandfather clock that ticked out the minutes and bonged the hours. You pushed yourself hard to finish the exams to get to Itzon, but your master pushed you even harder. I guess I kinda forgot how to be personable. I was so focused on studying.
That sounds like me when I was a student. I wasn't a very, sociable type of person. I was smart at home with my professors, which is strange because they intimidate me the most, at least at first. I ended up spending so much time in my tutor's office that he let me sleep on the floor. Rue lets out a nervous laugh and raises a knuckle to her mouth to cover it. So you didn't get along with your classmates either? I got along alright at first. I had a few friends the first year, but we sort of drifted apart. I think it was mostly my fault. I'm not very good at keeping in touch with people. It bothered me. I got used to being alone for a while. Not that you should sequester yourself. Talking to people is part of a healthy lifestyle for young people.
You shrug and look out Rue's window. I'm okay being by myself most of the time. My master used to say, you can be alone without being lonely.
Was your master, were you and your master a good fit?
Not really. Well, I don't know. He wasn't one to give out praise. I guess that made me work harder, but I got the feeling I wasn't living up to expectations until I got accepted there. Rue raises her eyes, looking up towards the ceiling like she's thinking of something. When she speaks, it's slow and drawn out.
I think sometimes our mentors cultivate an image that's mainly for our benefit. It's like a stage performance. They weren't larger than life, we wouldn't have something to aspire to.
I hadn't thought about that.
Huh.
So you think my master is putting on a front for my benefit?
I think so. My master's certainly dead.
What was your master like? Rue breaks into a brilliant smile as she seems to remember her master.
He was very grumpy and direct. He had no patience for me and my shyness. He wouldn't tolerate it. He was always telling me to speak up and stand tall. I was terrified of him. He seemed to be upset at everyone and everything, but he liked me because I took studying very seriously. When we knew each other better, I discovered he was a really gentle, wise man. The cantankerous persona was for students. He started telling me, go out to a party, get drunk, kiss someone. He didn't like that I spent all my time studying. Everyone respected him. He was one of my favorite people.
You think about your old master. He always seems sour and tired, but there were moments when his face would light up when lecturing you, and you felt like you were glimpsing a different man. You didn't like him, but you always felt like he knew so much more than he spoke about. I wish I had known my master better. But at least you had a good relationship with yours.
Yes, he taught me a lot of things. Now that I'm a tutor, I can pass his grumpy type of wisdom to my students.
You grin despite yourself. Rue's uncharacteristic exuberance is a bit infectious. Like what?
Let me see. A good drink enriches the night. A good conversation enriches the soul.
Rue's smile fades a bit, and she stares down at her desk.
I never got to use that one, actually.
You never went out to a party or anything like that? Ever?
I did once. Went to a bar with some of my classmates to celebrate the end exams. Everyone was very loud and getting progressively more drunk, but I forced myself to stay for 2 hours. I really wanted to see what Master Barras was talking about, but when I tried to talk to people, it was like they got bored of me. I talked for a few seconds and someone would interrupt. I was surrounded by all these people, but I still felt like I was alone. When I walked back to the dorms from the bar, it felt much better to be alone by choice.
Rue looks at you and takes a deep breath, then swallows.
But that's just me. I don't think you should give up making friends or having illuminating conversations with people. I suppose I'm saying all this to say, it's okay to feel out of place. It may take some time to find the right people for you. Perhaps there aren't people like that here, and that, well, you can always speak to me if you have problems.
You smile at Rue and give her a curt nod. Despite her attempts at reassuring you, you feel a kind of certainty solidifying in your mind. You're not going to fit in here. The best you can do is survive on the fringes and keep in touch with a little handful of people. Sure thing. Thanks, Rue. You decide to head to the martial arts class early the next morning to practice. You've been neglecting exercising on your own. When you arrive in the dojo, you find it empty and quiet, with sunlight pouring through windows. You start practicing your stance, then your movements and the footing. Still difficult, but you're better than you were a week ago. Being here alone reminds you of being in the library. The same high ceilings, the same sense of age and reverence. You close your eyes and take a deep breath, feeling calm wash over you. However, your exhale is interrupted by the sound of the doors opening. You open your eyes and find Izagi standing there.
You're here early.
So are you.
I'm always here early.
With that, she walks to the other side of the room and starts stretching. You clench your teeth. You really wanted some time to practice before you had to deal with her in class. As soon as training with Izagi starts, she always makes you feel like you're the child and she's the impatient parent. You're looking forward to practicing without her and getting ahead of the curve. Still, she's not your training partner before class starts. As long as you do your own thing and she does hers, it'll be fine. You move on to your first level kata, the chain of movements and poses your class was taught last week. After 15 minutes of that, you go over to a wooden dummy in the corner to start practicing your basic strikes. The dummy isn't a mannequin. It's more of a wooden column with adjustable wooden pegs sticking out of it. You can swivel the sections of the column to change the position of the pegs, simulating an opponent's hand positions. You wrap your hands in linen and strike the cushioned parts of the dummy that mark the chest, the face, and the neck. As you get into the rhythm, your eyes stray to Izagi, who's doing a more advanced kata set. She's wearing a fresh uniform with short sleeves, explaining the dark bruises on her arms. You watch her black hair swing back and forth as her body pivots and twists, and you realize she must struggle with it. You wonder why someone as practical and no-nonsense as Izagi would keep her hair so long. 10 minutes pass and you focus on striking the dummy with straight punches over and over. Every time you hit it, the dummy creaks a little as it absorbs the blow. Creak, 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 creak. You close your eyes and try to breathe freely as you punch. You're starting to get the hang of it.
You're not doing it right.
Your eyes fly open, and Izagi is standing next to you with a frown on her face. You didn't even hear her walk over.
Watch me. The power comes from the elbow, not the shoulder.
She guides you from it to the side and starts striking the dummy.
See? Can you hear the difference? The dummy creaks differently than when you strike it correctly.
You exhale slowly, trying to contain the frustration welling up inside you. You know, I didn't ask for your help. Izagi stops and turns to face you.
I just can't stand hearing you doing it wrong. It's irritating.
I'm irritating you?
Yes. We're practicing striking your blocks today, and I don't want to spend the whole time fixing your technique.
Are you going to be my training partner for the rest of the year? Izagi stops and stares at you in the midst of rolling up her sleeves.
I don't think so. Eventually, you'll rotate to another senior student who will take you through the basics. Why?
You don't want to admit that Izagi's intensity and curtness put you on edge. You're having trouble coming up with a convincing lie. Just seems like you have a very particular style of teaching, different from other senior students. Izagi finishes rolling up her sleeves and flexes her fingers, stretching her arms, then shoulders.
They go easy on junior students. They're afraid of being teachers. I'm not afraid.
But you're still learning too, right? You haven't mastered everything.
I know enough to teach you.
As she says that, two other students enter the dojo. You realize it's almost time for class to start. You leave Izagi standing there and start to stretch your arms against the wall. When the lesson begins, the instructor shows the class the 3 blocking positions, which seems strange and flimsy. When it comes to time to train, Izagi walks over and cracks her knuckles. She motions for you to raise her arms.
Come on, let's get going.
You grudgingly raise your hands into the guard position, and Izagi throws a slow punch. You intercept her strike with your left hand, twisting your palm up and guiding your wrist away with your wrist.
Sloppy. Don't overextend your arm.
You reset and she throws another punch. You send your hand forward and press on the outside of her arm to drive the punch down.
You need to do that earlier. Here, let me do it.
You switch roles and start throwing slow, lazy punches at Izagi. She intercepts them perfectly, one after another. What's frustrating is that her shoulders and body are moving, not just her arms. It's hard to see the whole picture at once. You try to block again, but Izagi stops him with a punch, groans, and adjusts your shoulder posture.
Get your body lined up. You're not doing it right.
You step away and push her hands off of you. Can you teach me how to do it instead of just saying, do it like me?
If you paid attention and just listened to your body, you'd understand. It's intuitive.
I'm trying, but I can't be as good as you are right off the bat.
You're just making excuses. You could do this if you tried, but you don't have the discipline.
You clench your fist and gaze angrily at Izagi, your breath quickening. Your voice drops low. You don't know me.
Have you ever been in a real fight, even once in your life?
I have.
Prove it.
There's a moment of hesitation. You can't just fight Izagi in the middle of a class. Even if you did, she'd probably kick your ass. There's one thing you can stand. It's someone who judges you without knowing you and has the gall to say you're not good enough. You bend your legs as you raise her fist in front of you. Izagi takes up her stance. You feel your throat getting dry and your breathing getting shallower. You force yourself to take bigger, slower breaths. You step closer to Izagi, almost within range to strike her hand, and you feel yourself drifting into a well of frustration. She's not afraid to teach other people because she doesn't care about them. She's arrogant. You feel your anger boil over and turn cold. Your mind clears and all you see is Izagi staring back at you with those piercing eyes. She doesn't know me. No one knows me. You step forward suddenly and roll your shoulder to throw a punch. At the back of your mind, you realize how clumsy your strike is. You're already preparing for Izagi to block and deliver a devastating counter-strike. You can see it all happening in your head. You don't care. No matter what she does, no matter how hard you get beat, you're going to show her that she was wrong about you. As your punch sails through the air, however, Izagi doesn't move. You look deep into her eyes and see something unexpected. Recognition. Whoa, a different facial expression she's never done. Your punch fell slack just as your knuckles touch her cheekbone, barely slapping Izagi's face. Just stand there, breathing slowly and looking at her. She looks back, still frozen in place. Slowly, she stands up from her stance and lowers her arms. Only then do you realize that the whole class has stopped to look at both of you. You glance around, feeling the other students' eyes on you, but the only pairs of eyes you care about are Izagi's. Sorry I punched you. But I couldn't stand you saying all that. I'm trying to do this right. Just takes me a while. Izagi licks her lips and looks away for a moment, then opens her mouth to speak.
I was being impatient. I'm sorry.
You nod slowly, feeling the echoes of your anger subside. You realize that for someone like Izagi to admit fault, it must be a big deal. The instructor strides over and stands beside you and Izagi. What's going on over here? What happened? You look over at Izagi, whose body stiffens. Her eyes screw shut in shame, and you can tell she's waiting for the fallout. Nothing happened. Izagi was trying to show me how to block, and I almost hit her full force. It was my fault. I'm standing too close. Izagi's eyes open and lock on yours. You look back trying to act casual. The instructor looks at you, then around at the other students. Be careful with your exercises. You train technique first, not power. Either way, it's time to switch. Junior students, work on your kata. Senior students, open sparring. You and Izagi split off and continue training, but you notice Izagi sneaking glances at you. By the time class is over, your forearms ache and you sweat through your uniform shirt. When you leave the changing room at the class and step out into the campus grounds, you're thankful for the chilly breeze. All you want to do now is head back to the dormitory and collapse on your bed for an hour. You start walking back toward your room, but you stop when you hear another pair of footsteps behind you. You turn around and see Izagi. Her eyes are fixed on your chest, and her posture is stiff. She has both hands in her pockets.
Hey.
Hey.
If you want someone else to train for you for class, I can ask the instructor to switch us. You don't have to wait.
You wait for her fierce gaze to meet yours, but it doesn't. You sigh, feeling the exhaustion in your bones. I can't keep up with you. I know that. If you feel like I'm holding you back, maybe it'd be best if... Izagi nods slowly. She looks off to the left across the campus.
When you threw that punch at me, I got the feeling you've...
You wait for her to finish the thought, but she trails off. You look in the same direction she is and slip your hand into your pockets.
I don't like people telling me I'm worthless
Or a screw-up. I've heard it for too long. People told me that for so long I started to believe it. I started to think I wouldn't amount to anything. Izagi finally turns her eyes to you. Her mouth is open a little, as if she's going to say something. Now it's your turn to stare at her, boring into her eyes without hesitation. Her eyes are still locked with yours, and it seems like it's distracting her.
I don't think you're worthless. What happened had nothing to do with you. It was me.
She drops her gaze again, turns and starts to walk quickly away. Izagi. She stops and twists her head around to look at you. When I threw that punch at you, I could feel it was wrong. Sloppy. If you were gonna punch me in the face, how would you do it? She laughs a little and looks ahead of her. She pauses for a few seconds, then turns around and walks up to you. She squares her shoulders and holds her up, her hands in guard position. You do the same. She takes a long step forward, positioning her front leg between yours. Her hands push forward, pressing your lead arm down. Then her back hand smoothly slides forward, crossing over her other arm and coming to rest against her jaw.
Palm strike.
Her fingers curl down, touching your face before she lifts her palm away. You look into her eyes and nod. That hurt. Izagi smiles slightly and steps away. She smooths down her uniform and brushes her hair away from her face. You smile back at her, then close your eyes and run your hands down your face, groaning. Don't tell the instructor to switch us yet. Maybe I can learn some more. God, I'm tired. See you tomorrow, Izagi. Your smile widens a bit, showing a glimpse of her teeth.
See you.
Ooh. Izagi character development. I like that. I don't know who I like the best. Anatomy class that day was just as overwhelming and difficult as always. Despite all Rue's help, the human body always seemed to have infinitely more complicated little facets to it they were expecting them to memorize. You tried your best to take notes, but you could tell you were missing large chunks. When it's finally over, you groaned and packed up your books. Before you could leave the classroom, however, you felt a gentle tap on your shoulder.
Hey, you want to come join my study group for the midterm? We're going to my room to hang out right now.
I don't know who I like the most. It's either Elise or Izagi. Both are really good candidates. Rue, she's cute. I can't lie about that. But she's not my type. Very hard decision. Oh well, they're all dead anyways. Oh, sure. How many people are coming?
Just a couple of people. Some of the same faces down from the bar, but a couple new ones. Why? Do you need a full list of names?
No, it's just the more people there are, the less likely we're gonna get any studying done.
Ah, jeez. I'd like you to look at my notes if you're so worried. I've already got all that stuff locked down.
That makes you stop and consider. You're still struggling in class, and they would save spending another 5-hour session trying to catch up. Doubt Lisa's study group is going to be very helpful, but taking a close look at her notes would be perfect. Despite her carefree attitude towards studying, Lisa's notes are absolutely immaculate. You have a sneaking suspicion that she keeps them clean and readable so she can loan them to other people. Alright, fine. You head to Lisa's room in a small knot of people, 2 guys and 2 girls, plus you and Lise. You recognize a girl and one of the guys from the bar. You think the guy's name is Tenza, the same guy you beat at cards. Walking across the grounds, everyone seems to be talking about feuds and rivalries on campus. You try to filter it out, but you can't tell but notice the smug and disgusted expressions crossing people's faces. In your experience, only one sort of discussion brings up that kind of glee and disdain. Gossip.
I don't know if it's true, but it sounds like it. What do you think? You're still pretty close to Izagi, right?
Oh hell no, we're not talking smack about Izagi, are we? Elise, I thought you were better than this. You realize Elise is talking directly to you. What about Izagi? I wasn't listening.
I heard she's got some kind of bad blood with Ino, one of the girls in your martial arts class. Broke her arm or something. People say Ino's been holding a grudge for a while. There's rumors she may try to pull something at the next sparring exam.
Like what? That's what we're asking you, idiot.
Hey, be nice.
I haven't heard anything from Izagi. I don't know much about Ino either. Told you he didn't know anything. I've been watching Ino. She's been looking at Izagi weird for the past month. The group finally gets to Lisa's room and spreads out the floor and beds. You take a seat against the wall below the window. Out of the corner of your eye, you see Lise shed her uniform jacket, then grit the bottom of her shirt. One of the other girls hurriedly holds up a blanket to block the view of Lise from the rest of the room, giggling. She gives a scandalized look at Lise. You see the other guys trying to act like they weren't looking, but the girls are already grinning at their bashful expressions. When the blanket drops, Lise is wearing a loose white t-shirt. She sits down against the same wall as you, about 6 feet away.
This is what you're looking for, right?
She tosses you a notebook filled with her notes on the anatomy chapters from class. You start leafing through the pages. Wait, hold on. I think the sprite's different. Her jacket's unbuttoned, so we get to see her on her undershirt. Huh. Cute. Yeah. Thanks. The next hour passes with Lisa's friends and making painfully slow progress through their class material. There's more distractions and sidetracks than actual studying, probably due to the fact that Lise keeps leaning over to look at people's notes. Her loose white shirt always drops low, and you can't tell but wonder what you'd see if she leaned toward you. Still, you're trying to push that out of your head. Lisa's notes are laid out in front of you, and it feels like you struck gold. Unlike Rue's rhythmatic chalkboard lectures, Lisa's notes are like instructions for toddlers. After an hour and a half, you feel like you're out ahead of the game.
How's it going, Mr. Gravedigger? You barely said 2 words this whole time.
You look up to find Lise cross-legged and propped up on both hands, leaning over her notes, which are spread across the floor. Through the collar of her shirt, you get a glimpse of pale, freckled skin and 2 sloping curves.
You gotta be done studying by now. Come on.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done. Thanks for letting me look at your notes. Lisa raises an eyebrow and says nothing for a beat. Then she sits up and claps her hands together.
Perfect. So we're gonna play a game.
A game?
I'll explain in a second. Just join us in the circle.
You look away from Lisa and see everyone else arranging themselves in a seated circle. You set down your notebook and slide over.
Tanda, did you bring the liquor?
Yes, ma'am. Some dark whiskey straight from the top shelf. Tenza pulls out a silver flask and holds it up for everyone to see his family crest etched on it.
Oh, you spoil us. Okay, so here are the rules. Each person has to see something they've never done. If you've done the thing, you have to raise your hand. Then we see raises their hand, and they have to take a drink. The game ends when we run out of liquor. Or someone passes out.
You grimace. You should have known this would end with people getting drunk again. Still, you've never had a whiskey before. You can't help but be drawn in by Lisa's upbeat attitude. You decide to stay, at least for a little while.
Okay, I'll start. Never have I ever cried in public.
The 2 other girls raise their hands, giggling embarrassedly. Tenza and the other guy look around stoically. The girls take quick swigs from the flask and grimace, but swallow. The next person in line, one of the girls, says she's never fallen off a horse. That gets one of the guys, who takes a short plug. He's up next, and says he's never been to Kilkaran. Everyone else, including Lise, raises their hand, smiles, and drinks. You've heard of Kilkaran. It's supposed to be some kind of island paradise frequented by rich vacationers. You notice Tenza look at you with raised eyebrows, like he's waiting for you to raise your hand. You've never been to the island? Where did you go for vacation? I've never been on a vacation. Didn't have the money. So I guess you just have fun by yourself, huh? Tenza mimes jerking off while looking at you, biting his lip and shaking his head in mock ecstasy. Everyone else laughs and rocks back and forth, leaving you staring at Tenza. The flask gets past you and you look down into the mouth. Never have I ever ridden a horse. Everyone looks at each other with the same incredulous look Tenza had, but Lise just smiles and squints at you.
Never, ever?
Always walked where I was going. It's easy in the city. Did you even walk here? Tits on? Look at Tenza with deadpan expression. What? Do you want me to ride an eagle or something to get around? You spend so much money on shoes. Why are you afraid to use them? You pass the flask to the next girl in the circle and shake your head, trying to look incredulous yourself. Watch. I'm gonna walk out of here next and be a fucking miracle to him. Lise bursts into laughter, and the rest of the circle joins her except Tenza. You look around and smile faintly. It's nice to know you can hold your own here. When it's Lisa's turn, she runs a pinky around the rim of the flask and looks at you, smiling mischievously.
You haven't drank at all, have you?
Not yet. Lise tilts her head back and forth, thinking the right I never.
Never have I ever spent time in a jail cell.
You chuckle a little. You know Lisa's trying to get you to drink, but you wonder what made her think of that one. You raise your hand and look around. No one else has their hand raised. You laugh, a little embarrassed.
What'd you do?
Which time? I didn't go just the once.
Oh, you're a criminal, the most interesting one then.
Well, I got thrown through a window. The other person started, but I got arrested for breaking glass.
And?
Hey, I'm not saying anything else. You're gonna have to pay me with arrest. I know you're gonna spread it around.
I bet I can make you a deal. But for now, next person.
The game goes on for 5 more rounds, and you notice everyone getting increasingly tipsy and giggly. Tenza's dour mood lifts as he seemingly forgets about his little grudge against you. You're taking a couple of drinks by now, and realize too late that you haven't eaten much of anything today. You can feel a warm sensation growing in your gut. There's a bit of a sway to your head when you move it. Damn it. I don't want to get drunk around these people. Still, Lisa's bubbly attitude keeps you in a good mood. She always seems to be floating about the conversation, joining in when something piques her interest. You know that one I never about being arrested was directed at you? You try to think of one to nail her with. When it comes to your turn, everyone seems to be waiting expectantly except for Tenza, who's got his eye on Lee's. It seems like growing up poor gives you a lot of power to get rich people drunk, and they're expecting the drink when it comes to you. You remember something Lee said to you in the bar. Something about cat. Her family raised them, or something. You remember her saying she was the first in her family to go to an academy. Never have I ever slept in a barn. Everyone laughs, a little confused. No one raises their hand, except for Lise. She just stares at the floor with a smirk on her face, working her tongue back and forth inside her mouth, like she's trying to keep cool. One of the girls cranes her neck toward Lise, who keeps her head down.
Alright, you got me, Mr. Gravedigger.
The circle bursts into shrieks of laughter, still wondering if she is joking. Lise has passed the flask, and she takes a deep gulp, then another. Finally, she lowers the flask and looks conspiratorially at you. She shakes the flask, which rows a bit.
Looks like the game's over.
The girls make you divide awe, and you heave a sigh of relief. Lee stands up and puts the flask on the windowsill, then collapses on her bed while the other girls pester her. What time is it? 11:30. Damn. I gotta get to bed. You start to gather up your notebooks and shakily get to your feet. The room spins a bit and you feel bile rise in your throat. Oh no, if you leave, where are we going to get our entertainment? I want to hear more stories about being a poor ditch digger. Never have I ever had lice. The other guy laughs and Tenza waits for you to say something. His smug, self-confident smile is incredibly irritating. You shrug and point toward the flask on the sill. Neither have I. Thanks for the whiskey. I'm sure you spent too much on it, but who cares? As long as you keep bringing the liquor, people won't care if you're an asshole. Tenza laughs and shakes his head and shakes a finger at you. Oh, you, oh, you. He reaches into his pocket, takes out a copper coin. He balances on his thumb and flicks it at your face. There. Go buy some new shoes, you piece of shit. This time the girls join on the laughter. The high-pitched squeals grate on your ears, but worst of all is Tenza's shit-eating grin. You pick up his silver flask and watch his eyes go wide. You open the window and throw it out before it can stop you. You shrug, he stands up and stalks toward you. Fuck it. Just buy another one. He grips both your wrists. His face is twisted in rage, and you can tell he's going to try to twist your arm. As soon as his grip tightens, you consciously cross your arms in air and loop your right hand underneath your left arm, the way Izagi taught you. You grab his wrist with your right hand and rotate your left arm, breaking Tenza's grip and letting your left hand come to the rest of his chest. Oh, there's two hands on this sentence. It's smooth and automatic, almost as if it's a dream. You feel yourself taking a step forward into Tenza, then shoving him in the gut. He goes down and you're on top of him. His hands wrap around your neck, but you're already sloppily swinging at his face. Suddenly you feel a jolt of pain at the base of your neck, and Lise is pulling your limp body off Tenza.
Uh-oh, son's had too much to drink. Time to go sleepy time. I'll take him outside and get that flask, Tenza.
Before you know it, Lise is dragging you into the hall. It's almost totally dark out there except for a dim lamp. She lets go of you, shuts the door, and starts talking to you in a low voice.
You're real bold tonight, aren't you? Find the other big male to impress the ladies? Thought you had a little more restraint. You're gonna get in real trouble if you get not careful.
You stagger to your feet and prop yourself against the wall. You're not sure what Lise did to you, but your body feels numb. Try to keep your voice quiet so Tenza can't hear you on the other side of the door, but it's hard. I wasn't trying to impress anybody. Tenza's a bastard and he's a sore loser. Don't want to be in the same room as him anymore. Get better friends. Or just tell me if you want to hang out. I'll hang out with you, but not them. Not him. Lise puts her hands on her hips. Despite the amount of drinking she's done tonight, she seems perfectly lucid.
You're putting me in a rough spot because I like you. You're fun and you don't bullshit. I can admire that.
Please, don't do this to me. Don't make sad faces. You're gonna make me cry. It's already a hard enough thing as it is.
But the year's still young and I can't just abandon my social circles while I'm still a newbie. Gotta make connections, otherwise I'm gonna get left behind. I'm trying my best to offer you some ins, too, but
I don't want in. I just want... Chill out before you say, to hang out with you. I'm not sure if you want to come on that strong.
listen, just play nice for a little bit longer. Once I'm in a better spot, I can cut some of these people loose. We'll have more time to hang out, just you and me. But for now, take it down a notch. Get to bed and don't punch any more people. We don't want to add to that reputation of yours.
Lise punches you playfully in the shoulder, then heads up to the hall to the back entrance to the dorm. You head to the other end of the hallway, toward the stairwell. You start descending the staircase, but you feel something pulling at you. It's like you've forgotten something, but you're not sure what. Shouldn't I be going upstairs? That doesn't make any sense. To get to the bottom, I have to go down. As you walk by one of the windows, you realize there's no lights outside. Wait. The lamps on the campus should be lit. The moon should be out. You look across the center campus and see dark, rolling clouds overhead. The ruddy orange light of a fire shines across the grounds. Your heart begins to beat faster as you smell the dry scent of ash and see little black cinders blowing against the glass. Not yet. It's not time yet. I still have time. This isn't happening yet. You run down the stairs, but the stairway is pitch black and you can only feel your way forward. You keep going down, down, down. And you realize there's no bottom. You try to turn around and feel your way back upstairs, but the walls and steps aren't there. Out of the darkness you hear a raspy cough, then a voice.
That you? Uzo?
You smell smoke and charred meat, and the faint sickly odor of rotting flesh. Fingertips brush against your back, and you spin around. All you can see is darkness, but you can't hear Lisa's breathing.
It's not bad, is it? My face? Is it bad?
A pair of shaking, wet hands takes your palm and guides it to something soft, warm, and sticky. Lisa's cheek. Your hand slides down the curve of her jaw and brushes something hard. A line of teeth. You feel the rotted hole in her cheek around the molars. No!
Oh God, I can feel your fingers touching the inside of my mouth.
You can feel her skin sticking to your fingers and her breathing leaking out of her cheek. You shut your eyes and try to say something. Anything to her. You're okay. You hear a flame flicker onto life and feel the heat of it on your face.
Oh God, I'm on fire. Uzo, put me out.
It's okay. It's gonna be okay. You hear Lisa's breathing get more panicked. She starts to cough as the smell of smoke grows stronger. She grabs at your jacket, trying to pull you close.
Help me, Uzo. You can't just stand.
You stand stock still in the dark, your eyes clenched shut as she starts to scream. The smoke and ash fills your mouth and nostrils until you imagine black clouds rolling in your lungs, pouring out your mouth every time you breathe out. You take a deep breath in and stifle a cough, trying to focus on your breathing the way Izagi taught you. In, out. In, out. You feel the heat from the flames subside and Lisa's scream dwindle to ringing in your ears. You open your eyes. You fill your lungs with cold air, then let the breath out in a slow, quivering stream. You feel hot, stinging tears in your eyes. The rush of waters fills your ears. Through the haze of tears, you can see faint mist rising out the river. Next to you can hear Izagi going through the same slow, repetitive cycle. Breathing in, breathing out. The sweat in your clothes is already turning them cold and damp. You can feel your heartbeat pounding. You wipe your eyes and desperately try to bury the memory least somewhere deep at the back of your mind.
Are you okay?
What? Yeah, I just got sweat in my eyes. Izagi searches your face. You realize your eyes are probably red, but she doesn't say anything.
Okay, if you say so. Make sure your heartbeat is slow.
You nod and keep taking deep breaths, trying to wipe the black, smoke-filled traces from your mind. As your head clears, you remember where you are. The little island in the river, where Izagi led you during your first run. You and Izagi have been training out here for a while. Though the sun is out, it's still bone-chillingly cold. Finally, your heartbeat comes down to its resting rate, 82 beats per minute. You breathe in through your nose and let it slowly through your mouth as the last shadows fade from your mind. You turn around and find Izagi digging through her backpack. You smile despite yourself as he comes to two paving stones in the bottom of the pack. You remember how this conversation went. Are those? Did you steal those from the one on the paths around campus?
What do you... Oh, these? No, I didn't steal them.
Where'd you get them then? She stands up and stretches her neck right, then left. In her hands is a cast iron teapot and a pair of wooden cups.
I borrowed them from one of the old buildings. The bricks were already falling out, so I took two.
And I think I'll save this section for the next part. It's getting quite interesting, I gotta say. But if you're interested in this, I will leave links down below in the description. And if you, I believe they have a Patreon, and if you subscribe to that, you will have access to more current demo. So if you want to do that, I'll probably leave that below. Anyways, if you want to watch more visual novels, please check my channel down below. And thank you, and take care.